Ah, hello.
Oh, beautiful. So, when we were friends for 6 months before we decided to then become best friends, you had this phrase that you'd constantly tell me on the phone, and that was "don't settle."
Uh-huh.
So,
Guilty.
and charged.
Yes, I did. We did when we were talking. Yes, because we're both single.
Yeah.
And so I know you were socializing. I was socializing, and so I guess for me and in my previous experience, rushing things or jumping in too fast too soon, like you know, it's really exciting and all the rest of it, but it can just be really exciting and not having to kind of make it any more or less than what it is. So being patient and being methodical and living each day as it is and not trying to make something happen that isn't going to happen, it takes a lot of kind of things to get right. And so really understanding what it is that you want, how it is that you want to live, is really important to be able to marry that up with someone else in an authentic way, where you do not feel that you are living a compromised life.
Compromised life. How was it living a compromised life?
So settling, being that if you live with someone, or if your friend circle is people that are displaying behaviors, habits, ideas, consumptions that are against your value, then you're the fool.
Yeah.
Like, if you're hanging around people who are going against your values, then I'd put it to you that those are not truly your values.
Yeah.
And so the motivation to move for me is not living congruent, or not enough, because there's all shades of grey. So I don't need to live congruent in everything. Some things are good ideas and like good stuff to live for. Then when it comes down to the practicalities, I don't really give too much of a shit about.
Yeah, because I feel like when you start off that relationship, you might be like on a mountain, right? And then you have like this glazing or this icing. And it's kind of like you're constantly focused on the icing and how good it was. But then the mountain underneath it is like chipping away and chipping away. It could be at your self-esteem, or it could be just at the way you're living being so incongruent that it's almost like you become just the icing and there's no depth to you, because you're just trying to balance like it's kind of like you're trying to bargain staying in that relationship, because we have all these dogmas of why we should stay, right? Like, as example, if you have a kid, or if you've invested X amount of years, you should invest X many more to get that ring on your finger, or to get that next promotion, or whatever it is. It's kind of like this, that's why I say it's icing, right? Because this facade where it's just like running on the top.
Yeah. Whereas what's the foundation under there? Is it just
Exactly.
a sandstone that is like going away? Is it like something of hardiness that can withstand? And yeah, I think the other pressure thing is just the age of maybe like going to school and in school culture and then university and in just a lot of traditional Western stuff for around this area anyway. It kind of just wraps you up. It's like a whirlwind. And in like business, it's like kind of the whirlwind of getting shit done. Stops you from actually like improving the shit that you're getting done, which means that you can never improve. You never, like, you're always kind of touching your tail. You never can get ahead. And so I feel like that, you know, you go to university, school, career, house, I mean, like, you know, wife, kids, house, like there's just this whirlwind of there's always something next that you got to achieve and do in this next certain period of time. And I think being able to step outside of that whirlwind in business and in your own personal life is absolutely fundamental to be able to take note and really make a good guesstimate on what your next move should or shouldn't be.
Yeah, because what was that study you were talking about, how people know what the right like, you have an idea of what sort of parenting you want to do and you're very clear on it, but then everyone else around you.
Yeah, I tried to find that study again.
Yeah.
It was like in my memory, it's an ABC radio interview with a researcher from a Melbourne university, maybe Monash University. Anyway, so that's what I did. But when I tried to find the interview or the actual research, I haven't been able to locate it, but listening to the radio one day, this researcher was saying they're researching parenting. A lot of parents would do base research. I can't remember the numbers of what she said around that, but like a lot of people would go away, and out of those people that would go away, they would get an understanding of what they had a preference towards, or what they felt would be more suitable for them and their families, their kids' lives. Out of those people, only 3% followed through when they felt that others would disagree with their outcome. So although they thought that the outcome would be a certain, should be a certain action, when 27% did not act on that, when they perceived other people to not agree with them. So if they didn't see other people doing it, if they didn't have verbal confirmation of other people also doing it, if they didn't live in a community. And so this is the nuts kind of thing, is that we're such in a diverse world, is that what's suitable for a traditional Asian family, traditional American family, to whatever, like everyone's different. Everyone's like, you got to be looking in it in terms of the functionality that results from those actions in that environment, in that society, and that, right? So there's lots of different things. Like going to church on a Sunday is not universal good thing that every single human should do, and if you don't, then it's wrong and you're going to be unhealthy and go. No, lots of different societies do it. Some people have days on Saturdays, which rest days, and some have there's all different ways about it. So to get out of the notion that just the way that you've seen it or heard it is the right way, and to understand that there is many, many, many different ways, and that innovation and even evolution comes from the cock up, like doing something slightly different. And so if you don't have that ability to then act out in a way that you feel is best, then you're constantly shackled by those around you. Instead of being liberated, instead of having people around you that are supporting you and uplifting you and providing you with a foundation to kind of be creative from. And so I feel like this is almost this dumbing down of everyone, because we all play down to the lowest, dumbest denominator, as opposed to all rising up to the highest, because we don't understand it. And so obviously we dumb down to what we do understand, that we don't even understand. Anyway, yeah, so it's complexity in life. There's a lot of complexity in life, or there can be a lot of complexity in life. And the more that you see life more simply, still see that there like that complexity, but just see the bigger patterns at play, and see how those bigger patterns at play, you can then get into those micro patterns. And so it's interesting to look from the pattern to detail in society and the movement of humans, and how human thought and behavior and action shapes the world that we live, and that you're a part of this world, and that you're creating this world, and that the future is made up of your actions today.
Yeah, because there is, I feel, so much choice. You just look at, example, homeschooling or spiritual groups or church, whatever you're into, right? There's like events, if you wanted to, every day that you could go to, right? Yeah. Is that going to move you closer to the life you want to live? Because I could just spend my whole weeks just going to homeschooling meetups with the kids.
Yeah, and it could be very, very rewarding and beneficial and suitable. And this is opportunity cost, because just a homeschooling meetup in and of itself is not enough information to tell you whether or not it's good. And that's what we go off. We go, hey, I want a 23-year-old female girl who's like-minded into, surfing. Cool. What about everything else? No, so no, is it a girl that also hygiene, has similar hygiene to you, because that's an everyday act? Is it a similar diet, because that's an everyday act? Is it like, if you're parenting, then you're going to be parenting every day, so is it a similar kind of parenting act, because that's an everyday? So these everyday things, we kind of overlook them. And so if by not settling, I think I'm focusing in on the boring. And don't settle on the boring.
Strong basics, right? It's not it's like
it is. But it's overlooked.
Daily life.
The basics is overlooked because it's so basic, because it's right in front of your fucking face, that you don't see it or like the sun is so beautiful and so warm and shiny, but because it's so warm and shiny, we also don't see it. We go, fuck, it's a hot day, it's humid, it's this, or right? Like, you don't appreciate the sun until it's a cold day, and it's like, oh fuck, warm sun, nice. But when it's shining at its brightest, at its thing, you're like, fuck off, go away.
And so seeing the beauty and the sweetness of it with the plants and the food that we're getting from it. because yeah, like the first thing I remember, the first few messages that touched base with you are if you had read Ring Seed of Russia, and that itself is that daily life, right? It's looking at this daily life, a very different way of living a daily
Yeah.
life.
So understanding then the take arounds as lifestyles, and how are you living, and what practices are you implementing now to drive you further into what lifestyle.
Exactly. So I feel having that basis of what is your ideal day look like, you know, it could be waking up in an apartment, it could be waking up on land, it could be whatever it is, just having that idea and talking about that to the person you have as a friend, as we say, friend zone everyone, because from that basis of friendship, sweetness can grow, because we were friends for 6 months.
Yeah, and because then it was a foundation of friends genuinely interested in each other, there wasn't any pressure of anything else. There wasn't any diving into it just like any other friend. And so this, however, has like how we navigated it and not, there is like this thing of, well, like I really wanted to be friends and know someone well first. And so I want to friend zone everyone, but my friends and the people around me, if I'm looking for a partner or into people to live my life with, of course I want to do it with my friends and have my friends around me. I think too that we hyper focus, intimate partners, but having good quality long-term friends. I'm kind of in society, I think it's almost like, I don't know, because I haven't got any better. Having long-term friends is really good, and you need to get the right long-term friends around. And it's not just about having a partner, like as in like someone that you can raise a family with. It's about having good, strong support of friends that are living a similar way, that understanding the issues that you're going through too, that are also problem solving those issues, whether or not it's in person and direct, which is definitely preferable, or online. You need to be in the community of people doing what you're doing. Like in anything, if you want to live any kind of intentionality, and have any kind of growth to what you're doing, then you need to surround yourself with people who are also in that same process. You need to be viewing and learning of people who have already completed that process, and you have to be mindful then and take action for that process in and of yourself. And these are kind of three pillars of success in it. The people who support themselves with other people who also doing the process, who then rock up every day and also do the process, and then have mentors or guidance, take counsel and learn from people who've also done it. They're the ones that are successful. So I think this has to be taken across the board with everything that we're doing in life. And when we're going in school and when we're doing our parents, they're showing us examples of how success looks in their eyes by the way that they're acting with the limitations that everyone has on them. It's then you as a young adult take that on board and think, okay, what the fuck does this mean for me? And where do their concerns come into it? Is it real life, like biological concerns, like sex before marriage or sexual health and that kind of stuff? There's real biological concerns there. There's real kind of like just good hygiene and being disease free and looking after your body, right? Viruses and that. There's good components in that. But also then learning sexual strength and sexual power and being able to play on the flip side as well. So understanding both sides of the coin gives you more awareness. I think hyper focusing in on one thing or the other doesn't give it. So in not settling, it's looking at a bigger picture. It's friending people, because people who are truly your friends, those are the people that you want to be around. It doesn't make sense to me that I'd have all these amazing people that are my friends all around me that I love hanging out with each and every day, and then I just randomly pick someone off somewhere who has a profile or has a picture that says they're the same, and then I try and make it work with them, as opposed to all the people that have been in my life for years and that have shown themselves, and that each and every day, like, maybe there's something in that. And so friend zoning everyone and talking to multiple women, like I think in dating shows and things they were talking about it, how, I think it was like in San Francisco or something, how the women were, at least in the first few dates, there's no commitment. Like, they're not boyfriend, like they've just agreed to meet up together, so there's nothing there. So they were obviously like they were meeting up with multiple people. It's like they're just meeting up for a drink, and it's like, oh fuck, just meeting up for a drink. It's like, shit, Like, it's overcomplicating stuff. Like, you're not doing anything, right? Like, the possibilities, like, you lock in the possibilities of, like, this person's going to be the love of my life for the rest of my life, we're going to have kids and that, and you lock in the possibilities, and then you fucking start acting as if that is real, when no, that's got to come as a development of acting in this moment. But then you start to, like, kind of hyper focus on the future as opposed to what is needed now to make that a reality. So not settling is kind of understanding where you are, where you want to go, and aligning up with people that are on that same path with you.
Yeah, because we've been brainwashed with shows and family and cultures to think that, you know, till death do us part with your first boyfriend or first girlfriend or whatever, right? That everything is this person and, you know, this ideology, you know, this is it kind of thing. So we're brainwashed to believe or think, or like, you know,
and within good reason, because raising a family and having kids takes commitment, and it takes willpower, and it takes resolve to make it happen, and to not give up, and to not bail when it is difficult or when resources are running low or anything else like that. So yeah, like the society pressures of like pick well and make sure it's for fucking life and all the rest of it, it has a good story behind it, like the sexual health and hygiene has a good story behind it, and like, as in, what I mean by good story is like it's a real valid message that you need to take on board
for foundational, because then they could up and run at any time, which you can see in a lot of relationships too, right? Commitments not being there. And I feel the flip side, as we've experienced with then till death do us part and all that, is in cases like DV, etc. Yeah, like you have to take care of your health and your safety, or your kid's safety, whatever your thing is. And yeah, till death do us part could come quicker if you don't get out of that situation. So like everything as a general is good, and then when you get into specific,
thinking
there's
of the
black and
reasons
white
why.
and
Yeah, so definitely that visualization of what it is that you want to live, how you want to live, taking it slow so that you can watch the person's actions and see through the person's actions. So many people talk up a big game of what it is that they want to do, what they want to achieve, and they're constantly talking.
yeah, actions speak louder.
And also, you'll see by the way that people talk, if people are constantly talking about things that they're going to do as opposed to talking about the things that they are doing, then are they really people of action?
Also, what I did do like 10-15 years back, like I had this very
Some people they talk on,
marriage,
they have like these 3-4 events that they have, and it's almost like this one event every decade, and that's like what they hang on to. And so their life story by the time they get to 60-70 is this makeup of like 4, 5, 6, 7 events in their life that they regurgitate over and over and over and over and over again. Like, have you ever been around a 65-year-old lately?
Yeah, so it's just live every day, right? It's so precious and wonderful, and by not settling, it's like having your absolute best friend. Like, yes, as best friends you have your ups and downs, but at the end of it, it's like really small skirmishes, right? Because in the whole, it's like, man, I get to live life with my best friend, I get to wake up with my best friend, get to have meals with my best friend, I get to, like, you know, raise this little minions with my best friend. So it honestly, like, it feels like a dream to me, because 10 years ago, if you came to me and told me that I would be in a partnership where I felt like not settling, had the best time, growing a food forest, growing and seeing the kids having this life that I dreamt for them to have, like, you know, climbing trees, climbing here and there, and playing in dirt and making mud pies and eating fresh fruit off trees and stuff, I'd be like, oh, that's such a dream. And to now wake up and feel it, see it, experience it, like, hot damn, like, don't freaking settle.
Definitely. Like, I'm 36. Like, I started to really get into like, how the fuck am I going to live? And because I bailed out on the idea of making other people rich for no damn good reason other than that's just the thing to do and to make myself look important. So, you know, 20, 30, 36, and at 19 then kind of understanding like, fuck, I got to do something different. I can't just do what everyone else is doing. Like, they're either faking it or they're all delusional. Either way, I can't do that. So I have to find another way. And so like this anxiety, I guess, of finding what the fuck, like, life's ticking and I gotta like get the fuck out of here. Like, I felt like so enslaved that like I need to I need to find my own way and quick. Otherwise, like, years are just ticking, life is just ticking. I'm not like, what the fuck? I'm going to be living someone else's life. So that kind of like that pressure that I put on, or that pressure that I was feeling of not being me, or not knowing me, or just kind of slotting in, because at school it was like, oh well, after school I'll be able to, oh after uni I'll be able to, oh fuck, after I finished work I'll be able to, oh I'm too exhausted on the weekends, I'm too exhausted, like maybe I will get to when I retire. And get to what until you retire? Because then by that age, what actions do you have? What habits do you have? What, like, there's probably not going to be ones that are going to be helping you do that. Just saying that is in terms of like, so 17 years to do this, and 3 years ago was then like a big shift in terms of my own peace, in my own now understanding of the game. Like, I always kind of treated life like a bit of a game. But then 3 years ago, it kind of like just is really, yep, cool. It's just this beautiful game that I can play. It's nothing too serious. Nothing can really go that wrong. So it's all good. Like, you're going to die one way or the other.
Yeah, the benefit of the pause and just pausing and slowing down and taking 2-3 days just to like chill, and like, because we're, as you were saying with the high school, uni, you know, it's this constant like hamster wheel, and just that being able to just pause and breathe and be like, what do I want from my life? What do I want to create with my life energy? Because I feel like it's kind of like this sadness, right? Like when people pass away, not singing their music out to the world, like their beautiful, authentic version that is just them, like a snowflake, and them not pushing that full throttle, right? Like, you know that song where it's like, when you turn 18, like, you know, then it's like, okay, now do your plan B and go to college, etc. Right? It's like, now, like, do your plan A and like give it that energy and push it. Like, even if it's just on the weekends, right? If you have to work Monday to
But
Friday,
be serious
whatever,
about it. A lot of
yeah.
people have plan A's that are to like run a big business or to do all that. Do you know what that takes? Like, it takes a lot of fucking work. It takes a lot of hours. Do you really want that? Do you really, or do you prefer to be just kicking a ball around with some mates and like building houses and like, so you got to really, you know, think about it, or what it is that you want to do and what kind of challenges you want to be solving and being a part of, and what song, what say do you want to have in your life? When you die, what do you want to like be able to look behind you and see?
Yeah, design your life. And I feel through this journey of us growing together, it's been the importance of saying no. Anything that took us away from what we wanted to create, like the social community we wanted to create and want to create, we committed 3.5 years of our first Saturday of the month to it, and we created till it's a beautiful oasis. So it's and we said no to everything else. Beauty of no is that you're in this wonderful clear direction of where you do want to go, and because then your energy and your time, etc., we all only have 24 hours. It's not like we're adding more hours. The beauty of sun up, sun down is of doing life and creating life how you want to do it. So yeah, I feel it's important to take time out and pause and reflect on what sort of life you do want to live and making steps towards it. I mean, what's the point of living someone else's life, right?
Yeah,
like,
and taking steps towards it is the journey, is it? And like,
exactly.
there is no, like, each and every moment is this life. There is not going to be any better. There's not going to be any different. This breath is going to be the same as the next breath in some similar kind of way. So this moment is as good as it gets. Stop hoping for more. Stop wanting more. Enjoy this moment, and you'll see that each moment is just as beautiful and that can be enjoyed in just the same way. So don't settle covers so much. And so from 19 to 30, with that's 11 years before I met you and gone in. So then learning the other way, finding the way, and then 6 years together to get 10 food forest started planting up, like, 12 years ago, or getting into. So these things take time. And when you can model after other people and you have more clarity around it for yourself. So I think if you can take more time when you were younger to truly understand how it is that you want to live, and observe other people's lifestyles and observe how other people are living, and then see where you want to have an impact, or what kind of tasks and things that you like doing. Like, what did you like doing as a kid? What did you like doing as a preschooler? Where do you like what do you like about hanging out with your friends? What do you do? If you can incorporate more of this so that there is no need for a work-life balance, so that work and life are the one and the same, that it is just a congruent life through it all, and that means also in your relationships with yourself. If it can just be life, then it's easier. It's a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, because you don't have so many friction points of how the other person wants to live and how what you want to live, right? So it's just this
You think about
beauty.
the ability of what we have each and every day, of being able to wake up and have our family together, be able to play with our family, be able to then go and spend time together at work and be in challenging and seeing each other have to like deal with challenges and grow and do all that, to then at the end of the day seeing each other like after we put in effort and like you know, coming back and like it's like seeing someone after they've played sport or anything else, like it's good. It's like they've put in effort, they're sweaty, they're content, they're right, and being able to be there is like at the end of the day, each day going like fuck yeah, like that was a cool day, and like we achieved something, like being that we were a part of something today, and like living that each and every day and being able to experience it with you as like you're doing your parts and you're doing things and then we're doing things together, and your different parts also marry up and help my different parts, and so together it's just like it's getting stronger and better and easier, and then because we are what we are and we never settle, is that pushes us on and motivates us to get more improvement and more better. But it's keeping this understanding that this is a motivating anxiety. It's not a life threat debilitating thing that then should be pawned out and expressed to everyone else. Like it should be taken lightly, and it should be taken that it's your personal inner motivation more so than dishing it out on other people.
Yeah, I feel like another thing regarding the sweetness of the non-settling is also the freedom. When you have that non-settling and you have this deep trust, you have this freedom to just be, right? Like we haven't had like crazy jealousy issues or non-trust issues or cheating issues or anything like that, compared to then like previous relationships, etc. Like I feel like we had this deep friendship and deep trust, which then created this beautiful freedom where we don't own each other. It's like, you know, that sand philosophy, the tighter you grip the sand, the more you lose it. So
like true love, let's go
grow and just be. And so I feel like that's just been absolute sweet and wonderful to be able to like, you can do your thing, I can do my thing, everyone still come together when we're finished what we've done. Or
I think we had these big conversations first.
Exactly.
We had these big friend conversations first about, hey, what do you actually like talking about doing, and whether or not that even aligns. And then we had the big conversations about, hey, well, we've been friends, is this something that we would want to take further and do more with this and continue to develop this relationship, and then what would that look like, what does that feel like to us, and it's being vulnerable and sharing what you want, but it's a empowering vulnerability, because like, no, I want this, and if you're not that, then that makes my the decision really easy. So let's just go through these things, these bigger ones, first and foremost, and then once we hit it out that and the big ones are kind of ticked off, well then it's okay, you want some kind of certainty so that you can be human and it's not going to be all over, and that, you know, you can't just run away, you can't back out, you've got to like kind of, you're both in it. If you're both going, especially we have kids involved with us particularly, but in other people it doesn't matter, it's the time and energy and effort that you put into something, you want to get something in return for it, so having stability around that. So having us was a 12-month commitment, and I think that helped. And then two, with our marriage, our 12-month commitment marriage of like, no, if we're gonna fucking try this, it's not, I'm not doing dating, I don't do dating, like I told you,
I
don't do dating, I don't date people, I think that's a fucking waste of time. I don't understand the point of it, but I have amazing friends in that, and you're one of them, and if you wanted to, you know, make this an intimate relationship, where we're life partners and that kind of stuff, what I can commit to is one, trying it to see if we both enjoy living together and experiencing that together, and two is that I'm going to love you and care about you as a human being. And then breaking that down, because that could be vague, is in that I will not go out of my way to destroy your life. I like destroy your life being. I will not go out of my way to take away opportunities from you or to create things that could be threatening or harmful to you in any awareness of doing that. So that's one thing. Two is that I will never abandon you as a physical body too that needs shelter, food. So essentially, if I have water, I will share with you so that you're not, like, if you're thirsty and I got water that I can share with you, I'll share with you. If you're hungry and I got food that I can share with you, I will share with you. It's not, I will not hold on to all my own as if it's all my own if you're in need. So I commit to loving you as a physical body who also needs nourishment, and if I can help in that way, then I will. I won't prevent you from having that. E.g., if anything ever happens to us and for some reason I have a house and you don't, then you can always sleep on the couch. Essentially, these kind of basic kind of stuff. And so that's what I felt was realistic in committing to. How can you be friends with someone if you want to live the same kind of way? At the very least, what I can do is I can commit to living with you for 12 months and see how you feel with that, because in 12 months we're going to have disagreements. We're going to see how each other lives, and we're going to have to talk it through and see it. But at the end of 12 months we can reflect back and go, yeah, fuck me, get me out. Or like, no, this was cool and let's do another 12 months.
I love that because it created this certainty, because a lot of the journey with this dating and all that stuff, you don't know, like, what are we, boyfriend, are we, what the heck are we, what are we doing, because you kind of flown from one date to another date to another date if it's going well, to then some, like, you know, it's like this transition points, but they're not always vocalized, right? So I feel like it was constantly like one foot in, one foot out, because like, wait, we're more than friends now, but what does that mean, right? Does that mean you're committing to me for how long? Are you going to duck and bail the first time we have a disagreement? The first time something
there's
happens?
there's nothing there.
Exactly.
There's absolutely nothing. So
So that's why when you offered this like 12 months commitment, I was like, damn, this is like amazing. Like, what? Like, because then in that 12 months you feel like safe, and like foundationally you can open up in a way that I have never opened up to anyone, like emotionally and stuff. I was never able to open up to anyone else that I'd been with before you, because you created that space to be able to talk about it. So whatever it was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm here to hear you out, to listen to you, or provide solutions, or help you through it, whatever it was according to the situation.
Yeah, and that's purely selfish, because I did the same thing, and I like being able to air out ideas, and they're stupid fucking ideas, but airing them out, there could be a little bit in that idea that, no, it's like, there's a fundamental framework, or there's something in it that can be changed over, and so airing it out and is fun. It's a part of the creative process, and not being bound by your thoughts and what you say is beautiful. No, I can change my opinion, I can change something, and it's just.
But the beauty of you talking about what's going mentally helped me understand what you were going through, because then when stuff did come up, I was able to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because remember when you said this part, and like, oh, okay, because it's like, oh my goodness, it was so good for the first time in a relationship to not be a freaking mind reader, or to constantly be like on the sidelines of the show, to be like, okay, what's gonna happen now today? Like, you know, what mood is this person gonna be? You know, what's gonna. So I feel like it was so, like, it still is so beautiful to know what's happening in your mind, because it lets me know what's happening in your mind. And that's what you've also let me know, right? You're like, I'm not a freaking mind reader, you need to tell me. And so through this journey, I've been able to speak up more and let you know how I'm feeling, or what's happening, or what's going on, and get rid of this whole traditional, like, mindset from my tradition of having to take care of the husband and the kids and everything, and just keep doing it over and over and again, right? And like, that's what I loved when we first got together, is like cooking together, cleaning up together in the kitchen. Like, now I have my music on and do, like, you know, we do that still on and off, but it's obviously our dynamics of family has also changed. The point is that I feel like through you speaking up and speaking out about what you were feeling, and helping me speak up for myself, because when I was offering things that weren't really for my own benefit, but it was more my ideology of what I had to be as a wife or a partner, and that sacrifice mindset that, you know, sacrifice myself at the cost of nonsense, you helped me eradicate that and speak up even more clearly and more up for, like, example, like if you are then talking a lot and I'm just having my downtime, I'll be like, hey, that's all wonderful, I can hear about it later. And that was really hard for me to do, because like it's like, no, but I have to be there for you and for the kids and everyone else, to like burn myself up alive and be like, I'm burnt out, and be a bitch, and then no one wants to be around me, right? Which a lot of people still do.
Yeah.
They
But
blow
what, you
up.
go and you help everyone else, and then the time is you exhaust yourself, and then you get it, and then instead of it being kind of your turn where people can look after you
No
get
one
so
wants to be
frustrated at everyone because you've left it too long and you haven't done it, then you
Exactly.
pop, and then you don't get you don't get it. Otherwise you'd get the
Exactly.
blessings if you can chill and you can.
Yes. So that's what it's really helped me, is that, yeah, like every day, I don't have to cook every day. I don't have to clean every day. Like, it's like, if it's that bad, you can do it, right? If it's that bad, the kids are old enough to do it. So, as in, it's just helped me appreciate my time management in a way that is not burning bridges, in a way that is...
So many people are doing stuff for the benefit of what they think the other person wants or needs, and it doesn't benefit the other person, whatever, and the other person is being polite and going, oh, well, this is the way that they show me love, so I don't want to like discourage them from showing love, so okay, we'll do it. And then you get this crazy notion where people are going off and working to get extra money to buy flowers for someone who gets them and chucks them in the bin because they're just accepting them because, oh, it's something nice for it. So this other person sweating their fucking ass off to do this thing for someone else who the other person doesn't even want it, doesn't even need it, doesn't even help them, whereas the other person, what they actually wanted, what they really needed, maybe was that time. And there's stories and stories of this, right? Like with the kids and fathers of it, like going to work, and of like, you know, there's this one story recently of like, daddy, like, you have $20, like, why do you want $20, son? Like, you know, I'm saving up for something, and I have $20 and I've already saved up, you know, this much or whatever else. And so the father like gives him money or so, and then the child goes like, your hourly rate is like $100, isn't it, Dad? It's like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, I saved up now $100. Here's the $20 that you and the money that I've saved up. Like, can I please come home earlier tomorrow because I want to play with you? So here's like the $100, buying his father's a time back. And his father, funnily, is like going to work all these hours to go and be a father to his son, but his son just, once he's got food in his belly, he just wants to play. And so what's the priority here? Who is that father really helping? Is he really helping the son, or is he really just helping himself in a way that that mentally fucks himself over, tricks himself to think that going to work and doing that is actually helping and being a good father?
Yeah, because like a lot of parents, right, buy the latest gadget or toys and stuff, and you have this room full of toys, but the child is still not happy or fulfilled, because that time, right, that essence of time and connection, like you know, I don't remember the best toy, but I remember this holiday that we went to, or the sand pit we went to, where, you know, Dad was playing with me and Mom was playing with me, and had this wonderful time. So it's more this moments together. It's not this stuff, and there's so much freaking stuff. Like, you know, if you wanted stuff, you could just get it. But I just feel like we, in this whole pursuit of materialism and materialism, is that we've forgotten this beauty and essence of time together, and actually talking about things, even though in that moment it might feel like you don't know how to say it, saying that I don't know how to say this, but so having those deep conversations, even though it might feel a little bit different, is important, because from that you create true intimacy. You get to know whoever is around you better through having these.
Yeah. Do you want to like know it up front or do it later? It's like, oh, I don't want to ask if they're dating someone else because I don't want to be too forward. And then 6 months later find out that they're dating another 6 people and you were just too lazy to ask. It's like, well, I just assumed that you like, fuck.
Stop
yeah.
assuming.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you assumed. It's done. It's happened. It's like you act differently. So take action.
Yeah, I feel like so
for
many
yourself.
assumptions
Don't
are built
do
up,
it.
right?
Is so you're doing stuff for other people because you
Exactly.
assume that that's going to help
I
them. How
did
about
everything for him.
But how about asking them? It's like, hey, would this help you if I did this? Could I do this for you? Would that make it so that you could do this faster? Like preliminary questions is, what is it that you need to get done today? And then seeing where you can help and seeing how, like, so more How about more focused about them?
Exactly.
Because sometimes
Yeah.
you might not be able to help in a constructive way that actually helps them, and therefore sit on your fucking hands and don't do anything. Maybe that's the best help you can probably get.
Exactly.
Sometimes my sons come to me and they want to help, and the best fucking help they can give me is staying the fuck away, so
Can't
that I
actually
can then
play,
move
yeah.
on and doing something, right? If I'm doing something dangerous
Yeah.
where they just can't be around, the best thing for them to be able to help me is to make sure that they're not around, and that way I don't have to
Yeah.
concern myself and take up extra precautions, extra time to
Double
do
check and
that.
triple
I can
check,
just
yeah.
get that job done, and I can then spend more time with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this whole thing of like, but I did everything for him or for her.
Yeah,
It's like,
bullshit.
it's not what they wanted then, right? Otherwise you'd be
No,
together.
so you did it. So this is wrong
you did it
framing.
for
You did
you.
it all. You did it all for you because you wanted to, for some reason or the other. You're doing
Yeah.
everything that you're doing because you want to for some reason or another.
Mhm.
Now, not on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level, you're doing everything that you're doing because you want to do it.
Yeah. And I feel like the more you become certain in yourself and more clear about yourself and yourself.
Yeah, then the yes or no's become easier.
Exactly.
And no is freeing. At the beginning, no is like, oh, I'm a bitch. Oh, no is I'm not being taken serious. No is,
Being
oh, no,
good
I'm going to
friend,
miss
yeah.
out. No is, oh, no one's going to like me.
Uh-huh.
But then no becomes no. Really, I don't have time for 20 close, really good on friends like that. And in this world of where it's like I got more, I got hundreds of contacts on my phone and thousands of like Facebook friends and all this kind of stuff is, what does it mean to have relationships? And then do you have little relationships to function with these people or that people? But is then that they're using them? No, because they love doing that. They love talking about that. So going to them and then they have a whole bunch of people just talking to them and they're like it's complicated. It's complicated, but I think less is best. I think less friends is best. I think less priorities is best. I think doing less is best. I think simplifying and doing less is best.
So enjoy your life simply and beautifully and
don't settle. Live your life.
Live your
Embrace
life.
your consequences and enjoy. It soon will be all over.